Hello everyone, welcome back to another Firestorm Gazala battle report. Again, this is still round 1. Just about enough time to get this battle report done and the results sent off, just to let Jimmy and Lucas have a game, and then we're looking forward to round 2. So this is game 5. We decided to do this one because when we decided to do it, no one else had played it, so we thought it would be better to have a proper result rather than simulating it. So down in this sector, the Germans are attacking, and Jimmy's in command of the Africa Corps for this one, and he is taking a scout car company as his formation. So we have that in front of us right here. So we have a scout car, which is a SD KFZ 221, and then we have 2 platoons of light scouts. So in there are is an SD KFZ 221 armed with an anti-tank gun, and then we have 2 SD KFZ 222s, and we also have 2 platoons of just 2 SD KFZ 231 heavy scouts. And in this formation as well is a Africa rifle platoon. So this is just basically a full platoon but with no upgrades. So it's just 4 MG34 teams and an anti-tank rifle, and we also have 3 captured 6-pounders. So it just makes the 5cm guns a bit cheaper, so knocks them down to 9 points. So it's quite good investment really, just to have some anti-tank 9 on the board. So that is all his formations. In support, he's got quite a bit. We have his trusted Marders, 4 of them this time, 10.5cm howitzers, and we've also brought along a Panzer II OP. He has 5 Panzer IIIs, all up armoured, so something for the British to chew through. He also has an allied support in the form of an Italian rifle platoon. So anyone who's played Italians, they roll a die, and there's a chance that they can actually become elite infantry. So that is it for the main force. Now in support, we have a Africa rifle platoon from there. This I've got it written down. They are from the 200th Regiment of the 90th Light Infantry Division that have been in Africa. So they have given a full Africa rifle platoon with all the trimmings. So that is a heavy machine gun and a mortar, and they also come with soft skin transport. So something Jimmy can move quickly around the field. And also High Command for Jimmy has allocated him air support in the form of 2 Stukas. So that is Jimmy's force. He does have some command cards. So again, he's taken the Armoured Car Company, which is a command card, captured 6-pounders, and he had a spare point, so he has decided to take diversionary tactics just to move around a unwanted ranged in marker on turn 1, and I think I might start using that myself soon. So that is what Jimmy's taken. So let's have a look what Lucas is defending with. This is Lucas' defending force, so he is gone for the opposite of what Jimmy's gone for. So basically where Jimmy's gone for light and fast stuff, Lucas has gone for heavy and slow in the form of the Valentine Squadron you can see in front of you. So he has a HQ of 3 Valentine 2s. He has then a 3 troop of Valentine 2s again, and then the remaining troops are made out of 2 Valentine 2s and a Valentine 8 with its 6-pounder, and that is it for the Valentines. Second formation is a rifle company, so we have a HQ of 2 teams, and then we have 2 full platoons consisting of 7 Bren gun rifle teams, a boys anti-tank rifle, and a 2-inch mortar. In this formation as well are 2 units of 3 6-pounders. You can see I've had to dig into the late war collection to feel this force for Lucas here, and 2 units of universal carriers as well. In support we have 4 25-pounders, and to round off 109 points, Lucas is using the Lucky Command card. And for Firestorm units, in the area was a motor platoon from the 3rd Indian Motor Brigade. So that is a full motor platoon, so just 4 Bren gun teams, a boys anti-tank rifle, and a 2-inch mortar. But they do have soft skins in the form of 3 trucks there. So today's mission is counterattack. Always one I found very tricky as the defender and very fun as the attacker. So especially with all the spearhead James has taken. So I'm going to set up again using the Axis of Attack PDF, and I'll try and remember to put a link into that, and I'll also put a link into No Dice, No Glory and Breakthrough Assault, who are the ones who are the Commander-in-Chiefs of this Firestorm campaign. Here's today's battlefield. Got a nice little airfield in one corner, some dunes over here, bit of soft sand, broken up with some scrub in the middle, and looks like the Italians tried to rush this airfield earlier on, unsuccessful. As you can see, the wreckage here, and then there's a few buildings dotted around the airfield, giving it a little protective perimeter around. So no doubt Lucas will want to deploy here, but with Lucas and Tom, they've always surprised me of where they've wanted to go, but still interesting battlefield. No sandstorm this time. I've made it a bit more difficult, so when I roll a 6, I then have to roll another 6 before it turns up, because I feel it was turning up quite a lot. So I'm going to send a photo of this to the boys, and Lucas can pick his deployment zone, and then we'll go all the way to the point where just before we have to deploy troops, as I find it makes it a bit quicker on the day, especially doing the remote method. Okay, we are deployed. Lucas has used his spearhead to push around as much as he could onto the objective, still 16 inches away. So he has put his UCs, of course, some 6-pounders, the Indian Motor Brigade, platoon, and a couple of the 25-pounders, and then the rest are in his regular deployment, and everything else is in a defensive position in front of this objective. Jimmi's put a couple of scout cars around these buildings just to threaten this objective over here. That's covered by most of the British force. 10.5's here, and then everything is crammed around 2 spearhead units from the heavy scouts. So everything is flocked around different 8 inches, and they haven't gone any further by here because that's 16 inches of the objective and deployment zone, and this one can go that far because these things couldn't move any faster. So there we go. So we're just about to go into the first turn. I'm going to get them all up on the video chat, so we're good to go, and it will be Germans turn 1 attacking. Turn 1 for the Germans, going well so far. The Stukas are in already, looking at the 6-pounders, and everything else has dashed up. The scouts here have moved on to the objective, and all the infantry are moving up. A lot of them doing follow me's. Their formation platoon didn't, and then the Italians did, but they had to leave some of them behind. And then we got some of the Panther 3s moving around as well. And that's it for movement. So now we're going into the shooting, and let's see what the Germans can do so far. James started off his shooting with a smoke bombardment that has screened his infantry advance, and then this happened with the Stukas. They came in, the infantry looked up, they heard the sirens screaming from above, and the bombs took out 2 6-pounders and a truck. So the casualties of the Indian Brigade are a Boy's anti-tank rifle and a 2-inch mortar, so that's not looking good at the moment. Luckily the Universal Carrier managed to dodge around the bombs. So we're now into the British turn, so let's see how they react. So first up we have a pinned 6-pounder, Lucas.
Yep, so Fearless, and all at 1, so he's pinned.
Okay, so is it reserves and then last stand, or last stand then reserves?
I think it's last stand first.
Okay, so you got your last stand.
Another 1 he's gone.
Oh, so that's the 6-pounders gone. Okay, and your reserve, so hopefully that will go a little bit better for you.
Hopefully I roll something higher than a 2, which I don't. I roll a 2.
So this is what we call time to get some new dice, or do a sacrifice to the dice gods in the form of a white bull. I'm planning on doing mine in the next couple of days. So that is the 6-pounders gone, and no reserves for the British turn 1, so here we're going into the movement. Lucas didn't bring his ambush in either, since they wouldn't have had anything to shoot. The Indians have ditched their death traps of trucks and have moved forward with the help of a follow me into the scrub, and the universal carriers are following behind, and the second platoon of UCs have moved into the other scrub. And that was it for British movement, and now we're going into shooting. Probably just going to be a bit of artillery this turn for the British, as the line of sight is blocked on behalf of the smoke. The British ranged in first time on these 10.5s, and Lucas got 3 hits, and then Jimmi rolled 3 6s for his saves, and so we agreed that's probably his 6s done for the game. So now we're going into turn 2 for the Germans, so that changes to a 2, the smoke disappears, and James has a rally test for the 10.5cm howitzers.
Another 6.
Ooh, another 6. These 6s are going to be running out fast for Jimmi at this rate. And then you've got 1 dice to see if your Stukas come back.
5.
They do. So Stukas again, it's 2 turns in a row as we go into German turn 2. German movement, James wanted me to move the Panzer IIIs around, but he wanted their front armour facing where the Valentines would come from, so that is pretty much anywhere along this edge, so I've turned the turrets around, so that's better than nothing. Italians moved up. This unit of infantry moved up as well, so the 8 Rads is tactical, and a lot of stuff have moved up and is actually in range for assault as well, if all goes well. And the Stukas are here as well, going for this slot, so not looking good in terms of the luck going to James so far. So we're going to shooting to see what the Germans can do. Shooting phase, another good turn for the Stukas. They've managed to pop 2 of the UCs. The 8 Rads opened up on the UCs over here and have bailed 1. Meanwhile 2 more infantry teams of the Indians have gone down to MG fire. The mortars and 10.5s have ranged in over here, didn't get any hits on the infantry but have managed to pin down the 25 pounders. So that is that for shooting, so we're going to see if James is in assault range and whether he does want to assault, so we'll get back to you. Okay, the assault is over. James took only 2 hits as he went in and both teams survived. The infantry then killed 2 of the teams they were in contact with, so that's it now for that Firestorm unit. They are gone. And then Lucas thought better of counterattacking with the UCs, so he's pulled 2 of the UCs back. Because one of them couldn't get outside of 6 inches, it is blown up because he was bailed anyway. And then Jimmi has consolidated, so all 4 of these teams are contesting this objective. And that ends turn 2 for the Germans, so now going to the British. Lucas has a pin down 25 pounder group, but they have rerolls from the formation commander.
So, let's be rolling. Yeah, got it.
So they're unpinned, and then the last bit of motivation is for the universal carrier that has found himself on his own.
Yep. So is it just the last stand?
Just the last stand.
Last 3, so he's got.
So he drives away, and then the last step is, do you want to bring your 6 pounders in from ambush?
What could they see?
Basically 8 Rads at the moment, the ones on the objective they can see if they came in your deployment zone.
Yeah, that's as good as any. Could I actually have a look at you might want to pause the vid and just let me have a look at the table.
Okay, right, I'll pause the video. So the 6 pounders are coming in, we'll put them down now, and Lucas has 2 dice for reserves, needing 5, 5s to bring them. What's that, 1?
Yeah.
What do you want to bring on?
Valentine's with one of the 6 pounder variant in it.
Okay, nice, so we'll have a look now at where they're coming on. This is where the Valentines have moved on to, so avoiding the Panzer IIIs as much as possible, but going for the Martyrs. central infantry platoon has pushed up, making sure there's some lanes of fire for the 6-pounders, and the UCs have stayed where they are. So that is pretty much it for British movement as we go into the shooting again. So by the look of this now, the British have finally woken up because they have killed 3 of the MG34 teams in the scrub. They've taken out an 8-rad, a 10.5cm howitzer, and one of the scout cars behind the building. And they have bailed a Marder and killed another one. So yeah, this is getting interesting now. So we're going into the motivation step, and James has a bailed out Marder.
That's fine.
Okay, so he's back in, and you have a pin down rifle team in the scrub. Yep, and then you have a pin down 10.5cm howitzers. Nice. And then you've got a last stand on the guys in the scrub. What you get? What do you get, James? What did you get? You got a 1, alright, so they're gone.
Yeah.
And then you've also got a last stand for the heavy scouts. Right. Yeah, so that is enough for them. And then the last thing you've got to do is, are your aircraft coming in again?
Please.
They do.
Oh.
That's 3 turns in a row now for the Germans, so here come the Stukas again. You can just about hear the screaming sirens in the distance. German movement, they're going to make it so these Valentines have really regretted coming on by here. Pretty much everything is turned, ready to get rid of them. The scouts on the left here are moving up. They're staying out of sight of the 6-pounders. Make sure they are all back. The Italians have avantied up. The German HQ has moved up as well. And another platoon has gone out to the objective, and more 8-rads have come here to get rid of the UCs. And the Stukas have aimed their priority towards the infantry advancing up. So very good game so far. Lots of stuff moving, lots of stuff dying. So let's see what happens in the shooting. The Stukas came in and did not range in. Something put them off for some reason. The 10.5s re-ranged in. They have pinned everything that was under the template, so that is 1st Platoon, the HQ and the 25-pounders, and they managed to kill a rifle team and the boys anti-tank. The 8-rads and the anti-tank gun could not get rid of these UCs. And over here, the Marders, the captured 6-pounders, and 5 up-armoured Panzer IIIs managed to kill 2 Valentines and bail another one. So Jimmi is a bit worried of what will happen if the rest of them turn up very quickly, since it took so much just to get rid of this little bit. So we do now go into turn 3 for the British. So first up we have that bailed out Valentine.
Yep. Get back in.
Nice. And then we have a pin down 25-pounder with a reroll from the HQ. The HQ itself, and the rifle platoon.
No, they don't.
Ooh. And then the last thing is you get 3 dice for reserves.
Yeah, and then that'll be the last stand on that one. So, reserves. No, just the platoon.
Okay, and then your last stand. Alright, so he drives away, but more come on. So we'll see where they turn up from as we go into British turn 3. Lucas has just brought on the platoon of Valentine 2s. Tempting as they were the rear of the Panzer IIIs and the Marders, Lucas has seen a juicier prize in the form of the Italian infantry, so he can hose them down and potentially go into an assault if need be. Elsewhere, the universal carriers have moved so they can get easier shots on the infantry, and the pinned down infantry team has done the only thing they can really do, which is to dig in, so at least they're in bulletproof cover. And that is it for British movement. So let's see if they can have another successful round of shooting. Shooting stat for the British this turn was not as good as last turn, but it would take a lot to be better than it was. The 25 pounders have decided to range in by here, but ranged in second attempt but got no hits. The 6 pounders have killed and bailed the other 8 rad unit, and the Valentines have killed one of the Italian teams, so they're going to be doing an assault this turn. So let's get rid of that casualty so far, and we're going into the assault phase. And that was a nice quick easy assault. The Valentines rolled in and had 3 kills, and there was nothing within 4 inches to counter, so the assault was over, and all defending teams were outside of 6 inches anyway, so that was it. So this guy is a bit closer, but he was not a defending team. And that is it for British turn 3. So now we go into German turn 4, sorry. We have James, a bailed out 8 rad. So they remount on a 4, James.
I think he's muted his mic.
James, you're muted. So you have a remount on your 8 rad, and it's a 4+ remount. No. You then have a pin down infantry team, the Italians. Yeah, they're unpinned. So then in your motivation step again, you have a last stand on 2 8 rad units. So the one closest to the British, it's a 5+ motivation. Oh, good. And then you also got another 5+. Oh, these 8 rads are loving it. And then the last thing you got to do, James, is kind of, I'm guessing they will come in again, your aircraft, but you did just roll a 5 and a 6, so you can't do any better than that. No. Oh no, the Stukas have run out of fuel, they're not coming in. So we're going into German movement. The Italians are pushing onto the objective but staying outside of the template of the artillery. The infantry under the template have dug in. The HQ has tried his best to get away from the Valentines, if any survive, and the rest have formed a gun line over here. And over beyond, the light scouts just stayed still so they can shoot at the infantry in the building and at the wall. So, German shooting, turn 4. Up on the top of the table, the light scouts have started opening up on the infantry, got a couple of hits but no kills so far. Down here in the cauldron, one Valentine died thanks to a failed remount because he got double bailed, and then the other 2 were just bailed, so shrugging off quite a lot of hits, these Valentines so far. Down here, the AT gun managed to bail a universal carrier, and a 25 pounder has been killed by the 10.5s. So going into British turn 4, we have 2 remounts on the Valentines.
Yep. 1 in, 1 out.
Okay, 1 in, 1 out. Then we have a bailed out universal carrier.
He's staying out.
And then we have pinned down 25 pounders, again double rolling.
They're good.
The infantry platoon.
They fail.
Again.
Yeah.
And that's a double, yeah? That's a double roll as well, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, double one.
Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so then we have a last stand on the universal carriers and the Valentines.
I'll do the Valentine first. Stays at 4.
Nice. And the UCs.
They run.
That's unfortunate, they're going. And then you've got 4 dice for reserves.
2-5, so that's both platoons are coming on.
And finally we get multiple Valentines coming on, so here we're going into British turn 4. So with the platoon that basically needs to do all the work remaining pinned, the only movement were the Valentines coming on. So these guys drove on here, so it's the HQ unit, so they can give some motivation to this lot, and then the other ones have moved onto the crest of the hill to deal with these pesky marders and hopefully get rid of some of them before time starts ticking. So we're going into British shooting turn 4. Lucas rearranged his artillery, so basically it was in a position that hit every single infantry team here. Ranged in first attempt, got a few hits, but unfortunately didn't kill anything, so everything's pinned. The 6-pounders opened up on this remaining 8 rad, but for some reason it is just bouncing everything and it refusing to run away. Bit more success over in here. The combination of what is left of this Valentine Squadron has managed to smoke these marders, so now James has the added fun of getting rid of Valentines with 89 weapons. So could be interesting as we go into German turn 5. We have James a bailed out 8 rad. He's back in, and then you've got a pinned down rifle platoon for the Germans, 4, and then the Italians, 6. So then you got last stand tests now, James. So the one furthest away from the British, a 2, but you do get a reroll from your formation commander now. No, he's gone. And then the other one roll for him while I check to see if he's in range. What have you got? A 1. Oh, he's gone as well, finally. And that is it for the motivations. The last thing to do now is to see if the Stukas have refueled.
Wish they hadn't.
Nope, they're still somewhere refueling. So we're going into German turn 5. Movement wise, the Panzer IIIs are moving as a protective screen for the infantry. To get where they were, they needed to do a blitz move, which they passed, and the Italians have dug in as well onto the objective, so that's good for them. And that is it for the movement this turn, and now we're going into German shooting. In the shooting, this guy got double billed, but luckily he passed, and these captured 6-pounders actually popped one of the Valentines coming over the hill. What else happened? 2 25-pounders have been dropped by their counterparts in the form of the 10.5, so they're last standing as well, so that's not good. And that is about it for the kills. So we're going into the British startup step for their turn 5, so they've got a bailed out Valentine, but who gets a reroll now.
Yep. He doesn't get back in.
We have a pin down single 25-pounder.
Doesn't pin.
And the pin down infantry team.
Hey, they don't pin.
Might be a bit too late for these guys. And then we have a last stand on the 25-pounder.
Sticks around.
And we have a last stand on the Valentines.
You could take.
They're good. So that is it. We're going into British turn 5. Now the infantry are unpinned, they're finally moving forward with the HQ with them as well. They both tried doing follow me's but failed even with the help of the formation commander. What else has happened? Everything over here is going to remain still, holding down this objective from those pesky light scouts over there. Valentine's, that guy who is on his own, is moved into assault range onto the Italians. The HQ is there to help, maybe get rid of something. And these Valentines on the hill remain still because they've got some nice side shots on the Panzer IIIs. And that is it. This is crunch time for the British. This Valentine needs to get onto the objective to try and hold it at least as we go into the shooting phase. Shooting wise so far, the formation command for the scouts has been popped by a Valentine. The lone 25-pounder has managed to pin the Africa rifle team, but no kills. 2 of the Panzer IIIs have gone down to a mixture of Valentines and 6-pounders, and a third has been bailed. And that is it for shooting so far. We do have 1 assault coming, and the only thing that can stop this is the AT gun from the Africa rifles. So let's see how this goes. So what has happened, the Valentine I don't think has actually killed anything in the assault, but the Italians didn't want to counterattack, so they broke away. The Africa rifle platoon though did get in, got a hit, then Lucas passed a save, then counterattacked thanks to the formation commander. Again, no kills, but then the Germans have had enough and pulled back, so he's consolidated onto the objective, and all the dice next to the infantry teams are just the ones to mark that they're not in foxholes anymore. So this Valentine might be the saving grace for the Germans at the moment, for the British at the moment, as we go into German turn 6. So for German turn 6, what have we got? James, you have a bailed out Panzer III remounting on a 3+.
Yep.
He's back in. And then you have a pinned down Italian rifle platoon because they broke away from an assault, so they're pinned. Yep, they're unpinned, right. And the Africa rifle platoon as well.
Great.
Yeah, oh no, they're still pinned. So far the Italians are unpinned and the Germans are pinned. That is it for motivation. The last thing you need to do now, James, is whether your Stukas come in or not.
No.
No, that's it. I think they had their 2 little golden turns and that is it. They're at the aerodrome having beers and thinking the battle had been won. So, but it still could be. It's all in the balance now. This Valentine needs to go. So we're going into German turn 6. Okay, so this is the focus of attention for the German player this turn. We'll zoom out so we can see. So, as I said to James, this is after movement as the Panzer IIIs are coming over here. The Germans won't be able to assault, so they'll just stare on in anguish looking at this Valentine, while the Italians are picking up the mantle if needed. Jimmy needs to kill or bail this tank to win the game for the Germans, and these Panzer IIIs are the only thing that can shoot it with the AT before the Italians have to run the gauntlet, and the only thing within 8 inches for defensive fire is this other Valentine over here. So there's still a few other things to do this turn, minus the planes, so this is an interesting one as we go into German shooting. Alright, so we have 2 potential bails up here, but unfortunately the 6-pounders failed their firepower. A lot of other stuff happening. The artillery managed to range in over here as I skip over the interesting stuff. Killed a team, I think, but they definitely pinned that platoon, and the Africa rifles have killed 2 more. So I suppose the interesting bit is what's happened to that Valentine. It's okay. In fact, it got 2 hits on it from the Panzer IIIs, bounced them off. The problem happened is when the AT gun hit it and Lucas rolled a 1. Luckily, he had a lucky card and he rolled a 2 this time. So, the Italians are up now to do an assault. So we're going to do that and see what happens. And will this buy the British another turn? So at the end of that assault, Lucas is really running out of luck. The Italians went in. They weren't stopped. They didn't lose anyone either. They got 2 hits, which Lucas shrugged off. He counterattacked, killed an Italian team, but then the Italians had enough and pulled back outside of 6 inches. So that Valentine is still there as we go into British turn 6. So first up we have a bailed out Valentine. That gets a reroll as well.
He still stays out.
We have a pinned down infantry platoon with a reroll.
He stayed pinned.
Ooh, not great. So now we're on to the last stand. So the 25-pounder.
Yes, he's good.
And we have the Valentine.
He's gone.
So he drives away. He's done his bit, and then this guy, this crew decide they've had enough, so they pop some grenades down the turret to blow it up. And now we're going into British turn 6 to see what they can do. It's a bit unfortunate that Valentine drove away because the HQ have had to move 2 teams onto the objective. Lucas had a thought about following me and them, but he's preferred to have the machine guns to fire down the exposed Italians. Meanwhile, this infantry platoon in the HQ have dug in, and everything else has remained still because they have other jobs to do. So we're going into British turn 6 on their shooting step. It seems at this point in the battle everyone's starting to run out of ammo. The 25 pounders have ranged in here but got a hit on the 6 pounder but no kills. A couple of hits on the Panzer IIIs from 6 pounders and Valentines but just a bail. The Valentines on the hill did a successful scoot and shoot for the first time in 3 turns and are now hidden. And over here, infantry platoon, HQ and Valentines fire their MGs into the Italians and have got no kills, even though they're not in bulletproof cover. So going into German turn 7, James has got a bailed out Panzer III that remounts on a 3+. They're back in. You have your pinned down Italians.
No.
Your pinned down Germans. And your pinned down 6 pounders. No. And then your last dice is to see if those Stukas have been called up from the bar and said, look, it's not over yet. No, they're still in the bar, they haven't finished their drinks yet. So they were probably wondering where all the Panzer III commanders are to join them for a round, because they were like, oh, that objective should have been taken ages ago. So we're going into German turn 7. German movement over here, everything has remained still. The Italians tried to dig in but were unsuccessful. We have had some stuff to do over this side of the table. The light scouts over here have moved up onto the airfield. They're going to try and do something, and the other ones have moved up as well. So got a lot more shots over here now. While everything else tries to get rid of the Valentines again. So we're going into shooting again. German shooting has resulted in another dead Valentine, still not enough. That was pretty much it. Basically the HQ is gone, the formation commander got killed, and that team is just down to 3 bases at the moment. So British startup step, there's a pinned down rifle team. And then we have a last stand on the 25 pounders. Okay, and that's it. So now we're going into British movement. British movement, these Valentines are staying behind the hill to avoid the 6 pounders, but still have a chance against these Panzer IIIs. And these Valentines are moved on to get into position to assault these Italians and avoid the Panzer IIIs also shooting at them. So that is it for British movement. Everything else that could be doing something is pinned. So we're going into shooting. So the British are firing everything they've got, but nothing is dying. They are hitting stuff, but nothing killing. So it's going into the assault now. So the Valentines are going in on these Italians again to try and get them. So this has happened again. When the Valentine did get bailed though by the anti-tank rifle, but basically the Italians and the Germans failed their counterattacks and got pushed away. The only thing stopping the Germans losing this is the fact that there's a Panzer III just within 4 inches of this objective. So yeah, game's still going on, turn 8. So first of all, James, you have a pinned down Italian team. No. A pinned down Africa Rifles. Yes. Pinned down 6 pounders. No. And that is it. So like the last thing you need to do now is to roll for your aircraft.
No.
No, these aircraft are slowly losing their most valuable player status at the moment. So we're going into German turn 8. Right, all the Panzer IIIs are now on the objective. The German infantry have dug in. The Italians again are preferring to stay out in the open. The scout cars are fancying their chances against the rear of these 6-pounders, while the other ones try to lay down suppressing fire. So here we go, shooting step. There's been a lot of fire again. When the bailed out Valentine is dead, and a infantry team up here has been killed, one of the scouts. But that is it so far from shooting, so these scouts are going to go for it, and they're going to go against these 6-pounders in an assault. The assault did not go great. One got blown up going in by a rifle shot. The 2 scout cars that made it managed to get over the wall, but then they failed to hit the 6-pounder. The 6-pounder and then some infantry counterattacked and killed the other one, and then unfortunately the light scout car failed his counterattack, went away, while the other guys were left struggling on their own, so they got captured. So that's it. So we're going into British turn 8 now. So will this infantry team unpin?
Nope.
Right. And then we have the last stand on the 25-pounder.
He's good.
He's still there, so we're going into British turn 8. Again with the stalemate, British are hitting stuff but not killing anything. We did do the movement step. These guys dashed to get some cover from the 6-pounders. But then there's nothing really to recap with the shooting either. The artillery ranged in again but got no hits. The infantry not killing anything even though the Italians are in the open. So that leaves us there. So going into German turn 9. I think we'll get there eventually. James has a pinned down Italian team.
Still no.
No. And then a last stand on the scout cars. Oh, 6. They're loving it. So we're going into German movement, but are we going to see, are these aircraft going to turn up?
No.
No. It's over. It's finally over. The Panzer IIIs did it. They killed their Valentine. Lucas rolled too low on the armour save, and then it was a 4+. So all it needed was a bail, but it's done. So it is a minor victory to the Germans. So for game 5, so the score is 6-3 to the Germans. So I remembered this time to do it. I'll probably put it on an end slide as well. Jimmy, as you're the victor, who was your most valuable player and why, or most valuable unit?
Lucas is rolling. Put that down infantry.
Alright, so so I think Lucas being unable to kill anything.
10.5 centimeters.
Yeah, the 10.5 centimeter howitzers took out 3 25-pounders, a lot of infantry, the HQ, and they also provided that smoke cover turn 1. We were thinking of having the Stukas as MVP, but that was turn 4, and after that they just didn't. They got their points, but that was it. So Lucas, what was your MVP?
The HQ Valentines came on just at the right time. Killed
Yeah.
Others.
Yeah, the HQ Valentines did enough to keep this game going on for 3 more hours. If we were to play this again, Jimmy, with the same forces, map and deployment, what would you do different, James?
Flak 88s.
Oh yeah, so that's the kind of only change is flak 88s for the Germans. So like we mentioned, going on that hill with the spearhead would be really nice.
Just make Lucas, I think twice about being so aggressive with the Valentines.
Yeah, and Lucas, any difference from you?
I'd have swapped the motor platoon in the trucks with my right flank rifle platoon just so I've got twice as many stands to run towards that objective turn 1.
Yeah, so we discussed the Indian rifle platoon would have been kept in this building, while the whole platoon would have gone here. And Lucas learned something about the rules today. He learned that when a unit gets destroyed that's in a soft skin transport, they just die. He thought they had saves, so I think that was a learning curve there. yeah, different. Good game in the end. I thought it might be a bit one-sided to start with, but although I wish it wasn't such a grind in the end. But no, a good game for both. Teetered on the edge for, I don't know, about 5 turns, I think. Okay.
Yeah, it was just before turn 6 is where it kind of became very teetered.
Yeah, but no, good game, both enjoyed. So I'll send this score off to Breakthrough Assault and get a final vote.